Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's the house!
We were all Richard Allen!
You pieces of shit got to the jury, didn't you?
What's going on? Well, looks like Clancy and Benny are down there doing something. I don't know. Doing something. Hey, look at that. Broken Scouts on the screen. All right. Hey, thanks, Broken Scout and Richard Watts. Well, last night we talked about that one case in Florida, but then now I have all the other three. There's three total. It's interesting because it seems like two are related, and then the other two kind of related because of where the bodies were found. So, I mean, there's three. So I guess we'll just go over it and see what the hell happens. But I did watch the interview of Becky on Hidden True Crime. That was pretty good. I watched it in my room last night. I mean, it looked like it was pretty... Oh, jeez. What the heck was that? Oh, I gotta fix something. My printer fell over. Yeah. That was pretty weird. How that happened? Let's see. Where does that go to? Now I gotta find what. Was that the power for that? Here, hold on a second. Yeah, I think that was it. That's the printer for the labels. It's kind of in the back. My foot caught onto the power cable and pulled it off. How do you think of that? Crazy. Hey, thanks, Eden Fox. Let's see. Yeah, so it was good listening to or watching that. Did you guys watch that? And man, that's a lot of that stuff we've been saying for years, really. The Delphi case is filled with crazy lunatics. And a lot of people want to respect, oh, well, they have a different opinion. I don't respect it at all. Okay? I'm not required to respect their opinions. I'm required to respect logic and reason. That's what that's what I respect. When you have nut jobs, just absolutely.
I love you and the phrase.
Hey, look at that. That's Lisa Holland. Hey, good to see you. Thank you. So, like, you know, I've always said this. I respect everybody's right to have an opinion, but I'm not required to respect the opinion itself. Okay, and there are people in the Delphi case that continually, like the attorneys for, we've been saying this for, gosh, I don't know, a year and a half, regarding Baldwin and Rosie and what piles of crap those two people are. They are some of the worst dirtbag piles of crap you'll ever see. They've gone on every Tom, Dick, and Harry pro Richard Allen bullshit podcasts and have sat there and just like trash the families. Just, they say some of the most ludicrous things in the world. Laura Lee, the dipshit attorney, had them on, and then they said some just wild crap, and that video's gone now. I mean, these people are sick, all right? Gray, she's not a dipshit. No, she is. Laura Lee is another pile of crap. All of those attorneys that are sitting there on a daily basis trying to pretend that Richard Allen is somehow not guilty are disgusting people, all right? They're not good people. And I've said this 1,000 times, and I think finally people are starting to see it, okay? Unbelievable crap. Just unreal stuff. You know, if you just listen to them and you know the reality and you listen to them, you'd feel exactly the same way. But unfortunately, people don't know the reality. They just sit around and they go, oh, it says attorney on her name, so therefore she's smart. She's an idiot, okay? And all of them, okay? I mean, when I say idiot, I mean no common sense whatsoever. Oh, yeah, well, book smart, sure, but nope. Complete garbage. And the whole Frank's memorandum, that was put out there for just purely for the public. Even in the first paragraph, it said, for those who don't really understand this case, we're going to... Well, the people you're putting this memorandum out to sure as hell know the case, right? Like the judge and the attorneys, etc., right? And then they go on to this whole odious, just bullcrap, okay? And it was kind of interesting because I've been saying it a long time that I think that Mitch Westerman, who's friends with Baldwin, that my opinion is that he intentionally, at the request of Baldwin and Rosie, likely just Baldwin, he went out and he made sure that the images of Abby and Libby, the crime scene photos, were put into the public arena to help bolster the Frank's memorandum that talked about branches, etc. And it sounds like they were talking about that. It was cool to see that on the in that interview, right? Because here's how it really worked. For those who haven't heard me tell you this before, this is how it worked. Mitch Westerman is a friend of Baldwin. Used to work there, work with together or something. And they asked him to take crime scene photos and put them out on the internet somehow through various levels. You know, give it to this guy, give it to that one, give it to that one, and make it hard for them to track it back to us. And so what happened was so Mitch Westerman gave it to a guy named Robert Fortson. Then Robert Fortson gave it to a person named, Cohen. And then that guy put it out on the internet. And then an investigation occurred to figure out where the leak came from. And it led right back to Baldwin's office. Okay? And then the story is that, oh, well, Westerman was there. And there was all these photographs just sitting around on a table. And then Westerman just because he's a psycho, started taking pictures of pictures. Like, got his phone out and started taking photos of the pictures on the table. And he, on his own behalf, he went out and gave it to Robert Fortson and then to Mark Cohen, I think it was. And then, you know, he bit the bullet. So the Mitch Westerman bit the bullet and got charged with crime, and it stopped there. You know, because he was the guy, he was like the firewall to protect Baldwin. I mean, what do you think the odds are that your friend would come into your office and start taking photographs of images that you, crime scene photos? Nobody would do that. There isn't a soul in the world that would do that, okay? So they had him do that to help bolster the Frank's memorandum, which it didn't at all. Okay, they thought it did because they could make it look like, oh, look at there's branches. And then Robert Fortson, the secondary person, he actually took his own life because of the investigation. So these attorneys are horrendous people. Okay, now they go out and they always do the little poor me arguments on all the different shows they're on. We weren't. Have you guys ever seen anything like this in your life, by the way? That after a conviction, and it's already been turned over to different attorneys for, the appeal process, appellate attorneys, I guess. Have you ever seen attorneys just keep going on this, and looking and trying to throw out new information and different stuff and filing this motion and that motion? I mean, by the way, why are they able to even do this at this point? It's over. I mean, it's crazy. All those documents they just put out regarding Ron Logan and that Ricky, or whatever the hell his name is, that guy. Hey, thanks, Eden Fox. Appreciate it. Yeah. If you turn off your phone, notice it will turn off the entire system. I don't know what that means. But hey, guys, if you're out there, and we're getting near the end of the month, so if you guys can support the channel, I know tonight won't be a big crowd night because the title doesn't say one of the big cases. It just says serial. It's asking a question. Is there a serial killer? We'll get that in a minute, but I just wanted to talk about this stuff for a minute because it's really, really, especially after listening to Becky again. I mean, we've talked about the same stuff, on phone calls and stuff, but it's just, God. And then there's these YouTubers are still making videos about Kelsey. It's, I mean, come on, you guys. Jesus. So it just absolutely doesn't make any sense. Got that one. Gotta put these in there for the spin. Yeah. So anyways, we've been saying this stuff for a long time, and by the way, she broke, the title of the video says broke her silence, but she actually broke her silence on our show. I mean, because she came on my show 3 or 4 weeks ago and did a interview. Let's see. Yeah, I just don't understand why they're still out there doing the propaganda crap, trying to sell different angles. They might pretend that they believe he's innocent. I don't believe they think he's innocent. You'd have to be an idiot to believe he's innocent. The facts of the case show that Richard Allen is the killer. He is bridge guy, therefore he took him down the hill. He's the only one that anything points to. I've gone over it 1,000 times at this point. You get what I'm saying? All right, anyways, I'm going to switch over now to this, the serial killer story. Yeah, so let's just go back over this one quickly again that we did yesterday. They're not long. I'll start with the other one. So this is in Davie, Florida, which is down in the southern end. I mean, you can see, look how far down. It's right in this area. See, every one of these ones is right there. Doesn't that just ooze a series? I mean, you've got this huge state, and then right down in this one little pocket here, you got these 3 murders, Pretty crazy. So the body found in Davie Canal identified. So there was a body found in the canal, and then, and I think that was just the first article just mentioned the body found in the canal. And this one was when Carrie Weldgen failed to return home Friday night after going to a local pizzeria with some friends. Her parents didn't worry. They figured she was with a friend, which is exactly what they were told by one of Carrie's friends. You know how girls are, they try to cover up for each other, said her father, Leo Weldgen. It wasn't until Wednesday that they learned the truth. Their daughter was dead. Police identified the body of a young woman found stabbed and floating in a West Davie Canal as that of Weldgen, 17, who lived with her parents about 3 miles from the canal. Fingerprints from the body were matched with others found in Weldgen's home in the King Manor Estate mobile home park. Let's see. From the body so they matched her. And, we've got all these places mapped out already on this case. So Weldgen, hold on. Yeah, there's a McDonald's that she worked at. So Weldgen lived right here, I think. Yes, right here. And then she worked at this McDonald's. But that night she went over down here to a Enrico's Pizzeria in this mall here. So that's where they went. Hey, thanks, My Father's Alibi. Hey, so what about the measles that are breaking out? Yeah, tell us about that one. Yeah, so that's where she went to go hang out at a pizzeria. And then, she's supposed to be at work. She lives here, and then the next morning was supposed to be at work at this McDonald's. So it says the citrus worker saw the body floating face down in a canal at Southwest 121st Avenue and 36th Court. So her body was found, never made it to McDonald's. Her body was found, let's see, down here in this canal right there. Now, there is a street view blue line here, but I think you can only go to right. You can't go in this little pocket here, but you can go right there. And there you go. You can see the canal right on the side. So she was found in this. I mean, it's weird. It's almost like they put this, keep horses, this whole fence was probably put in after that or something. Pretty wild, but she was just found floating in that water. Police would not say whether any suspects have been identified in the killing. Carrie, a former Western high school student who dropped out this year in her sophomore year, worked full-time at McDonald's restaurant on State Road 84 at Southwest 130th Avenue, less than a mile from her home. I don't think she had any enemies, her father said. She had more friends than most people around here. She was last seen around 5 p.m. Friday when she left home to go to dinner with some girlfriends at Enrico's Pizzeria at 979 State Road 84, about 2.5 miles east of her home. Let's just see if that makes sense. So if her home is right there, and then I started, feels like it's long, looks longer than that. Yeah, it's already 3 miles. I mean, I don't know. I think that, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Because this is the correct, unless the address, let me try that address again. So let's see. It was 979 State Road 84. Yeah, so it goes, that's the only place it even, so that's way more than that. It's like 12 miles. Yeah. Enrico's Pizzeria. It doesn't make any sense when they say 2.5 miles. Yeah, there's a Buy Me a Coffee. Don't forget that. Yeah, let's see. State Road 84 at Southwest 130th Avenue, less than a mile from her home. I don't think she had any enemies. And then right here it says, on Saturday when Carrie didn't call. This 2.5 miles doesn't make sense, though. It's more than that. On Saturday when Carrie didn't call or return home, her parents started to call her friends. On Sunday, one of Carrie's friends told the Weldgens she knew where Carrie was. But later, Monday, the Weldgens discovered that the girlfriend had invented the story to protect Carrie. So I think, yeah, it's sort of an interesting thing there, because whatever the girl is protecting Carrie from, it's almost like Carrie said, hey, I'm gonna go do something, and this girl's protecting, knowing that, okay, she went off with these other. So she knows something, this friend. Because if not, what are you protecting her from? Like, let's say Carrie, after they go to the restaurant, they leave and Carrie goes home just like anybody else. What are you protecting her from? The off chance that she might have... See, I don't believe in that. I think that that lady or that girl knows something. Something about what may have happened, but maybe doesn't know the person or something. That's the only thing that makes sense. What do you guys think about that? Because why would she protect a friend without knowing any, like, we all just leave the Mexican restaurant, we're going home now. And then the next day the mom says, have you seen her? Yeah, I know exactly where she is. She's with them. Why are you protecting her? Doesn't make any sense. Is anybody there? Hello? Hello, everybody. Let's see. All right, so we got that one. It's another one of those nights chatting to a brick wall. Let me see if I can... No, that's real. That's really what it was. Wow. You're not talking about Coburger, nobody's chatting. Unbelievable. Let's see. Let's go to this one. Right here. Police confirms parents' worst fears. Okay, so then Carrie Weldgen, 17, went out for pizza with friends in West Broward Friday night. She didn't come home, but her parents weren't concerned. She often stayed overnight with girlfriends. Leo and Loretta Weldgen began to worry when the teenager didn't show up for work the next day and didn't call home. Their worst fears proved warranted Wednesday when police identified the body of a young woman found stabbed and floating in Davie Canal earlier this week as their daughter. Weldgen of 12601 Southwest 6th Street in unincorporated West Broward died of multiple stab wounds, according to the Broward Medical Examiner's Office. Police said the girl had been dead between 24 and 48 hours when her body was found Monday morning in the canal near Southwest 121st Avenue and 36th Court in Davie. She went out with friends that night and never came home, said Mrs. Weldgen. She stayed over at girlfriend's home before. I never worried until she didn't show up for work. Weldgen, who dropped out of Western School in the middle of last fall's term, was scheduled to work Saturday at McDonald's at 13200 State Road 84. When she failed to show up for her shift, a McDonald's employee called the Weldgens to check on her and her mother, Loretta Weldgen. Mrs. Weldgen said she asked the employee to call again if Carrie didn't show up. She assumed her daughter made it to work when no one from the restaurant called her again. But let's see, it says Mrs. Weldgen said she asked the employee to call again if Carrie didn't show up. Okay. So then she assumed her daughter made it to work when no one from the restaurant called again. Yeah, that sucks. By Sunday, Mrs. Weldgen said she began to phone some of Carrie's friends. I started calling around to everybody she could have been with. Mrs. Weldgen said there was no sign. Miss Weldgen said she received a call on Sunday saying that her daughter was being held at the Pompano Beach Detention Center, a facility for adults. She and her husband, Leo, drove to the... And that was probably a relief, a good feeling at that time. Like, thank God, But we're told that no one by that name of Carrie Weldgen had been detained there, she said. Sergeant Natalie Bush, an officer at the center, confirmed that the center had no record for Carrie Weldgen. A check with other facilities in the area showed no record of Weldgen being arrested. When the Weldgens reported their daughter missing on Tuesday, Davie police went to the home to take fingerprints from Carrie's room. They confirmed Wednesday that the body found in the canal was that of Carrie Weldgen. Davie Police Detective Jim Ewing said he was told that Weldgen had planned to meet some friends at a pizza restaurant Friday night. He said the girl described her mother as a very... He said the girl, described by her mother as very introverted, appeared at the restaurant, but he wouldn't say whether she left with anyone. See, that's what's interesting, because that one friend seem like she knows that she was talking to somebody. That's why she was, quote, protecting her. There's lots of things to run down, he said. He would not comment further. Memorial services will be held at 2 p.m. Sunday at Forest Lawn, south of Davie. The family requests that contributions be sent to the Ronald McDonald House in lieu of flowers. I gotta get that name in the My Father's Alibi in the spin for the notebook. Alright. So we're doing that. If you send $5 or more in, you get the, for every $5, you get an extra chance on the spin. So like Lisa Holland and the Broken Scalp, they send in 20, and that way they get 4 chances each. So if you guys are out there and you can help support the channel, even on the nights that we're not covering the more popular cases, that would be great. All right. Oh, hey, everybody start counting again. Let's see. Hey, thanks for this account and for the other one there too. All right. So what do you guys think of this one? I mean, so far, guess you know what's even worse, you guys? This is the last article that was ever in the paper. There isn't. They didn't keep following it and trying to figure something out. They just went right off the face of the earth. So then after that, we have this other case of Stacy Lynn Jazvac. And this one is, okay, so that first one was 1985, March 15th. And then 10 months later, there's this Stacy Lynn Jazvac. She's only 11. Hey, thank you, Uniquely Susie Retired Hospice RN. The second longest name in YouTube history. I think it's a serial killer, Columbo. Got to use a little bit better detective skills. Let's see. Deputies hunt missing girl. So this is the Broward Sheriff's Office was conducting an intensive air, and I haven't read most about this one at all, and ground search late Thursday night for 11-year-old girl who may have been abducted during a trip to a nearby store. Sheriff spokesman Jim, Lejedel said. Stacy Jazvac of the 3600 block. Okay, now let's see what that is. 3600. 34th Street. Wow, look at how many of those are. That's ridiculous. 34th Street. How in the hell does that work? Let's see. Yeah, there should be one right over here. That's where they said that she lived. This is 34th. So maybe 3600 northwest. Let's see, does that make sense? Okay, right over here. So where's 3700? Alright, so that means it's right inside of this area here. That makes sense. That's consistent with where I visualize it off of a map. So we'll just put it right in this area. So it's right inside of there. Hey, thanks both of you guys for gifting memberships. Very cool. Put those in there. Alright, so Stacy Jazvac of the 3600 block of probably northwest 34th Street was last seen about 6:30 p.m. when she left her house on a bicycle to go to a store a few blocks away. The bicycle was found in a field near the store at the intersection of Oakland Park Boulevard and State Road 7. Okay, so let's see where that is. Oakland. We're just going to map this out. I think I've already got it sort of a general picture though. Oakland Park Boulevard and State Road 7. Okay. So they have that right there. Okay, so that's further down, I guess, than where I had it. Guess we can move that to here. That's where her bike was found, maybe? Probably have to move the other one here in a minute, too. Alright. And so the bicycle was found in a field near the store at the intersection of Oakland Park Boulevard and State Road 7. Jazvac is described as 4'11", and not just 90 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Thank you, Cinnamon Sin Freak. Alright. Yeah, so that was the kind of like the first time it was in the paper. That was on January 31st. She went missing the day before. And there's a picture of her right there. Stacy Jazvac strapped a flashlight onto her handlebars Thursday afternoon. So this is, January 30th. So the sun isn't out too long. So at that point in the evening, like 6 something, I think they said on the previous one, right? Let's see. Let me load that one back up again. That was 6:30. So that makes sense. So Stacy, first they were spelling it S-T-A-C-Y, but it's actually got an I at the end. So you had to look up both. Strapped a flashlight onto her handlebars Thursday afternoon and steered her bicycle towards a drugstore near her Lauderdale Lakes home. The 11-year-old never came back. The FBI entered the case Friday afternoon. Broward Sheriff detectives said she probably was abducted. The case is classified as a missing juvenile, but all indications point to the possibility of abduction, especially when there's just a bike sitting there. It's a little different in a runaway situation. You're just not sure, but Office Detective Jeff Georgievich said, we ruled out the possibility that she ran away. Stacy, who is 4'4" and weighs 60 pounds, not what they said in the last one. Hey, what's going on this account? Come on. Hey, thank you. Look at that. She just gifted 5 memberships, you guys. And guess who's not getting them again? Holy crap, are you kidding me? GSU PM did not get one. Wow. Katie, Ellie, even a blind squirrel got one. Impossible Dreamer and Moonchild 75. So Stacy, who is 4'4", so that's totally different than the first one. What did it say over here? It said in this one that she was 4'11" and 90 pounds. How do we all of a sudden get to 4? I think the first one is correct. An 11-year-old isn't 4'4" and 60 pounds. I think that's not right. I think she's probably, this makes more sense, doesn't it? 4'11", 90 pounds. Instead of, I mean, I've never seen a just completely different thing like that in my life. I mean, 4'4", 60 pounds. That sounds like somebody that's about 7 or 8, you know. Anyways, so Stacy, who, let's just say 4'11", 90 pounds, had dirty blonde, shoulder length hair with a part down the middle. She was wearing blue jeans with gray stripes, a pink pullover shirt with Stacy embroidered at the top, and white see-through nylon windbreakers. Hey, thanks Zozo for gifting a membership, and that one went to Cub23. And then this account again. And K-Me and Crime Freak got one on that one, and Double Play Dog Dude. I think the YouTube gods are messing with GSU PM. Okay, that's what it feels like. It feels like they're really intentionally trying something. Alright, so let me get back to this. So she just went to a drugstore right from her house. A deputy found Stacy's white 10-speed. That must have been, once the parents knew that they found the 10-speed, that probably freaked them out. You know what I mean? Like they saw that and went, oh jeez. A deputy found Stacy's white 10-speed. And by the way, somebody 4'4", 60 pounds isn't riding a 10-speed. A deputy found Stacy's white 10-speed about 7:30 p.m. Thursday in a vacant field at the corner of, okay, now we have that one, Northwest 34th and State Street. All right, let's try that. Northwest, well, we already know where 34th is right here. And they said State Road, isn't that this one? State Road. State Road. Okay. Is that what this is? Well, we know that it's this right here is 34th. And apparently she lives on that street. And see, I thought this was the drugstore before, but now they're saying it was here, but they said near there, so I guess it could still be that. They were just giving the larger area for, you know, visualization. But when they say State Road, I bet you that's what this, oh, it says right there, North State Road 7. Okay, there you go. So the bike was found right here. Right? Wait. Okay, yeah, wow, that's weird. So that's where I had it originally. So let me get rid of this and then move this back up there. Yeah, so that we already had that. It was right there. So it is near there, but there you go. So the bike is there, and she just lived right over here. So man, did she get abducted? I think she made it to the store though, right? Or not? I guess we have to figure that out. Thanks, Moofies. Alright, so a deputy found, let's do that again. Stacy's white 10-speed about 7:30 Thursday in a vacant field at the corner of Northwest 34th Street and State Road 7. Just a few blocks from the Jazvac home. Witnesses told detectives they saw a light on the ground in the field and then saw a small red truck speed away. Georgievich said, somebody had to have grabbed her because she wouldn't go with a stranger willingly. Nancy Jazvac, Stacy's mother, said Friday afternoon, what anybody would want with an 11-year-old child is beyond me. Wow, you guys. There's Kathy Shiflett with 5. Did that work this time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got Precious, Stephen H., Beckfast, Mace Mindu, Honey Bear, and then one this account, and Carly with an I. Oh man, that's crazy. GSUPM. Might have to, maybe you have to sign back in or do something. I don't know why that wouldn't happen. It's crazy. Let's see. So deputies started stopping red trucks. Nancy, the mother, Stacy's mother, said Friday afternoon, what anybody would want with an 11-year-old child is beyond me. Well, these psychos, that's what they do. Deputies stopped red truck all day Friday, but Georgievich said the effort had proved futile by early evening. Searches with helicopters and dogs Thursday night and Friday morning proved no further clues, said Stacy's classmates, family, and neighbors all agreed that the blue-eyed blonde seemed happy and had no reason to run away from home. Let's see. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, and Lanky Tor. Jeez, you guys. Should I turn off the sound effect? I don't have to. I kind of like it up there. Normally we don't have it going too often, so. So we got Poca Paco, Kelly Nash 82, Kimberly, Renee, Susie, and Jenny, and Summer Day. And GSUPM just absolutely left in the cold. Crazy. So she was very happy. Drivers searched the canal immediately behind the Jazvac home, just east of State Road 7 for more than an hour Friday morning, but found no trace of Stacy, a student at Lauderdale Lakes Middle School. Thank you, this account. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next article, which is again on the first. I think we just did that one, right? Yeah. So this one, that's the mother right there. Sandy, the neighbor's dog, sits at the back door of Stacy Jazvac's Lauderdale Lakes house every day waiting for his 11-year-old friend to come home and play. The dog's been sitting at the back door for days, Stacy's mother, Nancy Jazvac, said Sunday. But Stacy didn't come out Sunday, and her family isn't sure if she's ever will again. No one has seen or heard from her since she left home on her white 10-speed bike at now 6:15 p.m. Thursday. She was headed for a drugstore at the Oakland Park Boulevard, State Road 7. Okay, so now we know where that is. Let me put that in there. So it was Oakland Park Boulevard. No, that's right here. So that's where the store was, right there. Okay. So that's where the store was. Not there. So she's here, and then the bike's there, and she was gonna go there. That's where she lives, up here though. So, God, it's just wild. Police found her bike at 7:30 p.m. abandoned in a vacant lot. As she was headed for a drugstore at Oakland Park Boulevard and State Road 7 to buy poster board for a school project. I mean, how mundane is that? Like, oh yeah, we're just gonna buy some poster board and some psycho kills you. Police found her bike at around 7:30 p.m. abandoned in a vacant lot. The handlebar mounted flashlight, which witnesses recalled, oh wow, so that's what that light was on the ground. That was the flashlight that she used. Recalled seeing shining from the field, was missing when police recovered the bike. Witnesses who saw the light said they also saw a small red truck speeding from the lot. But Staci's trail stops there. Broward Sheriff Detective Jeff Georgievich said while waiting for the phone to ring at Staci's house, police and the family have received about 90 phone tips, but so far none has led to Staci. We've run out of investigative leads, he said. It doesn't look good at this time. Georgievich posted a chain-smoking vigil at the home, not sure what that is, along with Nancy Jazvac and Vivian Altman, Staci's aunt. The two women paced the floor frequently. If Staci was kidnapped, her mother said, then somebody had to have seen something. Nobody has come forward that has seen anything. That's our problem. The days are getting longer and longer. All we need is one good lucky break. That's all, she said. Staci's father, Dennis Jazvac, a serviceman who flew in Friday, Fort Ord, California, and Dave Griffin, Nancy Javac's boyfriend, hoped to drum up that break by circulating posters throughout the county. Anyway, so at this point she isn't found yet, right? Then we move forward. And so Broward Girl's body is found. So now she's found. And they have this map, so we're pretty close here. Like, you know, now that I look at it, she lived there. To the left is where the bike was, and then down there is where the store is. So it makes like a... They just have this dot a little lower, but, you know, it's a little tiny map. The body of an 11-year-old girl missing since January 30th was found Friday afternoon in a field in northwest Broward County. We have located Staci, said Broward Medical Examiner Ronald Wright. Wright confirmed that the body was that of Stacy Jazvac by comparing dental x-rays with the decomposed body that police said had been in the field for more than 24 hours. So this is February 15th, right? So remember, she went missing on January 30th, so we're looking at almost 2 weeks later, and she was found the day before this article. So she was found on Valentine's Day. Ridiculously, you know. Let's see. So they have no suspects at the time. There are some strong leads that we will be following, and that's all I can tell you, Navarro said. I don't know exactly when, but I feel we'll have an arrest. There are many good leads. Wright said it was impossible to tell whether the girl had been sexually assaulted. He said he would conduct an autopsy over the weekend. Navarro and Wright would not comment on the position of the body or if it was clothed. That's the type of information that probably her attacker would only know. So back then, even these guys were saying they didn't want to put out information that only the killer would know. The girl disappeared while riding her white 10-speed bicycle back from the store. So that means she'd made it to the store. I mean, that's nutty now. I mean, so it's like she was right here. And we could actually put it in there. We could mark it like this. She drove to here, to there, then to here, and then back up to here, and then that's where she was abducted. Just like that. Right there. And that's not even a mile, the whole round trip. Let's see. She had gone to the store to buy some poster board for a school project on myths, legends, and fairy tales. I mean, geez, just such a normal kid thing to go do. Only the bicycle was found. The girl was the only child of Nancy Jazvac, 36. I mean, another nightmare. Probably never had another kid. The weightings, it's a little bit like Anna, you know, because I believe that Abigail Williams was the only child of Anna. I think that's correct. The waiting's over, Nancy said. I guess we knew if they ever find them, a slow death isn't good enough. Life in jail isn't good enough. Jazvac learned of her daughter's... Let's see what page. Let me just... this is 2A, so like 75 maybe. Looking for 8A. This is 5, so 78. Let's see. Yeah, so that's the mom right there again. While staying at the West Palm Beach Hotel, I think that's the part we were reading. Yeah, that's continued from 1A. At a West Palm Beach hotel where she had been sent by the Adam Walsh Resource Center. So Adam Walsh is, you know, John Walsh actually helped pay for her to stay in the area. Jerry Ashley, a computer systems analyst with the Adam Walsh Resource Center, and John Walsh, president of the center's board of directors, was too upset to speak to comment. Stacy was the second child to be abducted and murdered in Broward since Walsh's son, Adam, disappeared in 1981 and was found dead 2 weeks later. His killer was never found. That's sort of interesting, isn't it? And wasn't that kid, he was beheaded, wasn't he? John Walsh's child. He is really upset because there are so many similarities between this and what happened to Adam. He's heartbroken and devastated because what has happened to Stacy is every parent's worst fear. This tragedy has brought back the horrible memories for Reeve, Walsh's wife, and himself, and he stressed that at this time, we must all respect your family's right to privacy. Hundreds had been involved in the search for Stacy, Ashley said. Part of the search was conducted on the opposite side of a canal near where the body was found. Well, let's see, I think, did it mention precisely where the canal was? Let me see if it's in this one. Calls led cops. Oh, yeah, well, then there's... So anyways, the canal where they were found, or where she was found, was right here. Okay, now... In the next story that we're going to cover, another body was found right here in this area. And that's why they were kind of wondering if the same killer killed this person and this person. But that person here has way more sort of geographical connections to the first case that we covered of Carrie Weldgen. Right, so anyways, in this case, however, calls led cops to Jazvac's suspect. So it says, the mention of Stacy Jazvac's name during 2 obscene phone calls to 2 Broward residents put sheriff officials on the trail of one of 3 suspects in the 11-year-old's abduction and murder. While sheriff officials questioned the 24-year-old North Lauderdale man Thursday about the phone calls, he admitted an unrelated Coral Springs attack on another young girl last year. The man, who the sheriff's department will not identify for fear of jeopardizing their case, is being held in the county jail without bond, charged with an attempted murder and kidnapping in that case. Sheriff officials also discovered during the interrogation that the man was in Stacy's neighborhood the day she disappeared, McCann said. He was at a coin store in the Lakes Mall across the street from the field. So let's see where Lakes Mall is. They usually don't change the names, but oh, is there? I haven't changed. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Lakes Mall. Was it one of these? Yeah, there it is right there. Okay. So this makes sense. So here's the Lakes Mall across the street from that store. So he was over here buying coins. Let me put the, or selling coins. All right. McCann would not comment on what any of the 3 suspects have said about their possible involvement. Well, here, let me go back to that part. Right here it says, across the street from the field where Stacy's bike was... Oh, that's from Stacy's bike. Hold on, let me go back. Yeah, so it's still... I mean, there's that, and then the mall's right across the street over here. So I don't know exactly where in this mall, how it all works. Is there... Oh, yeah, it looks like there's more buildings over here, so it could have been over here. Don't really know, but he admits to being right in that area. Sheriff Nick Navarro said in a news conference early Monday that he expected an arrest, perhaps more than one, within 24 to 48 hours. McCann would not comment on what any of the 3 suspects have said about their possible involvement. So that was this one? Did I just read that one? Yeah, I mean, what an idiot, though, by the way. He calls over there. And then here's the guy. Public defender worked to restrict questioning in Jazvac murder case. So there's this guy named Michael Thomas Rivera. But it might be better because I found this document online. Rivera versus State. Sorry about that. But I could actually, let me just I'll have it read it from right here. So this is an actual document that describes what happened. So he's been arrested and sentenced to death, this guy. Okay, but in some articles out there, they actually think that maybe he killed this other person that was 29 years old. Not sure about that. This guy's into kids.
11-year-old Stacy Lynn Jazvac left her Lauderdale Lakes home on bicycle at about 5:30 p.m. on January 30th, 1986, to purchase poster board at a nearby shopping center. A cashier recalled having sold her a poster board between 6:30 and 7 p.m. When Stacy failed to return by dusk, her mother began to search. At about 7:30 p.m., the mother encountered a Broward County deputy sheriff, who had Stacy's bicycle in the trunk of his car. The deputy found the bicycle abandoned in a field alongside the shopping center. A police investigation ensued. Police first connected Michael Rivera to Stacy's murder through a complaint filed by Star Peck, a Pompano Beach resident. She testified that she had received approximately 30 telephone calls during September 1985 from a man who identified himself as Tony. He would discuss his sexual fantasies and describe the women's clothing he wore, such as pantyhose and one-piece bodysuit. She received the last telephone call from Tony after Stacy's murder. Ms. Peck testified that he said he had done something very terrible. "I'm sure you've heard about the girl Stacy. I killed her, and I didn't mean TTO. I had a notion to go out and expose myself. I saw this girl getting off her bike, and I went up behind her." She testified that he had admitted putting ether over Staci and dragging her into the back of the van where he sexually assaulted.
By the way, I mean, yeah, he didn't want to, he just wanted to expose himself. But he used ether. There's no way in hell he just had ether sitting around. He was going to use it for that, right? So there's no, I mean, just listening to that by itself, obviously he intended to do what he was doing, right? I mean, this isn't something where you just, I mean, I don't know about you. Do you guys drive around with ether in your car?
On February 13th, detectives Richard Police first connected Michael Rivera to Stacy's murder through a complaint filed by Star Peck, a Pompano Beach resident. She testified that she had received approximately 30 telephone calls during September 1985 from a man who identified himself as Tony. He would discuss his sexual fantasies and describe the women's clothing he wore, such as pantyhose and one-piece bodysuit. She received the last telephone call from Tony after Stacy's murder. Ms. Peck testified that he said he had done something very terrible. "I'm sure you've heard about the girl Stacy. I killed her, and I didn't mean TTO. I had a notion to go out and expose myself. I saw this girl getting off her bike, and I went up behind her." She testified that he had admitted putting ether over Staci and dragging her into the back of the van where he sexually assaulted her. Rivera had been employed by Star Peck, and she identified him as Tony. On February 13th, detectives Richard Sheff and Philip Amabile of the Broward County Sheriff's Department took Rivera into custody on unrelated outstanding warrants and transported him to headquarters where they told him that they wanted to speak to him. Detective Sheff testified that Rivera responded, "If I talk to you guys, I'll spend the next 20 years in jail." After reading Rivera his Miranda rights, Detective Sheff told Rivera that someone had advised them that Rivera had information about the disappearance of Stacy Jazvac. The detective testified that Rivera admitted making the obscene phone calls to Star Peck, but denied having abducted or murdered Stacy. In subsequent interviews, Rivera admitted that he liked exposing himself to girls between 10 and 20 years of age. He preferred the Coral Springs area because its open fields reduced the likelihood of getting caught. He would often borrow a friend's van, and commented that, "Every time I get in a vehicle, I do something terrible." Rivera then admitted to 2 incidents. In one, he said he had exposed himself to a girl pushing a bike. When asked what he did with her, Rivera replied, "Tom, I can't tell you. I don't want to go to jail. They'll kill me for what I've done." In the other, he said he had grabbed another young girl and pulled her into some bushes near a Coral Springs apartment complex. Stacy's body was discovered on February 14 in an open field in the city of Coral Springs, several miles from the site of the abduction. Dr. Ronald Keith Wright, a forensic pathologist, testified that most of the upper part of the body had decomposed, and that the body was undergoing early skeletonization. The doctor concluded that death was a homicide caused by asphyxiation, which he attributed to ether or choking.
Isn't that ridiculous? Ether was used. And that's really only the part that describes what happened. Yeah, so here's this Kalitan thing. See? Ferris sought to introduce evidence pertaining to the February 20th abduction and murder of Linda Kalitan, who occurred while Rivera was in custody. Yeah, see, that doesn't even make any sense. He was already in custody. That's what I was thinking when I was reading through this. And murder of Linda Kalitan, which occurred while Rivera was in custody. We find the dissimilar. I mean, if they're in custody, how in the hell are you going to try to tie it to this person? Doesn't make any sense. All right, so we're just about to get to Kalitan here. So that case was solved. All right. However, Carrie Weldgen, that first one we went over, has not been solved. And I actually think this Linda Kalitan is related to that death. Okay? And I'll show you why here in a minute. So whether, and obviously now it sounds like that guy couldn't have done it. So not even sure why you'd associate it with the guys in prison. Kind of dumb, what do you think? So here we go. Now this is 1986, and this is Okay, look at the date, February 20th. And it's interesting because some of those articles we were just reading are February 18th, 20th, etc., regarding Stacy Lynn Jazvac. Like he'd already been arrested at that point. And then Stacy Lynn Jazvac, the first article is January 31st, and I think it might be when she's just missing. Yeah, so she's just missing. So now we're going to go over this one. What are you talking about? Well, how are they getting away with that, though, Timothy Cecil? There's usually some hitch to it. Hey, thanks, Luke Stedman. Are you guys finding this interesting? A little bit? You know, something different? I don't even know how many, probably 150 people. Hey, we got 213. Not too bad, not too bad. I know, but if it's free, then I don't know. There's usually a little catch or something weird about it. I don't know. I guess I'll check it out. All right, here we go. Look at. Search goes on for woman last seen Thursday. Police and neighbors continue searching Saturday for a woman who disappeared while riding her bicycle. I mean, Jesus, here we go again. Home from work late Thursday night, police said. Linda Kalitan, 29, was last seen by fellow employees at Garcia's. Maybe that's where the Garcia's restaurant. Oh, yeah. Shit, that's what it was. So, the Garcia's that we had way down there. No, that was Enrico's. So Garcia's is right here. But that almost seems to match the other story, right? Where it said 2.5 miles from the home. Let's see. That's funny. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's still like, you know, well, I went too far on that. Let me just check this out. If I go quick measurement from here to there, let's see. 3.16. I don't know. Anyways, Linda Kalitan, she disappeared on a ride to work on her bicycle, and she was riding home from work late Thursday night, police said. Linda Kalitan, 29, so she's 29 years old, not 11, was last seen by fellow employees at Garcia's restaurant at the corner of Pine Island Road and State Road 84. So let's just make sure that that's what I have. No, that's a different one. Pine Island Road. Oops. You move all these up here, put them in the right folder. Okay, there's Garcia Restaurant right there. So here's Pine Island Road, and I think that's actually the restaurant right there. I don't know if it's called the same thing now, but you can tell, look at how it's kind of stucco. I bet that was a Mexican restaurant at one point, like a El Torito's or something. But it's Garcia's Restaurant. But look how we're getting close to the area that Carrie Weldgen lived. Because remember, Carrie lived right here, right? And then worked at this McDonald's. And now we have, oh yeah, check it out. Linda's bike was found right there. We'll find out here in a little bit. And then right here is Garcia's Restaurant. So all just right here in this little small area within a year of each other. Davie Police, and well, first of all, Garcia's Restaurant at the corner of Pine Island Road and State Road 84, and that was about 10:30 p.m. when she left for her home on her bike. Davie Police on Saturday issued a teletype message to local police departments describing Kalitan as an endangered missing person with suspected foul play involved. Kalitan normally rides the 3 miles on a bike path westbound along State Road 84 to a babysitter's home in the Western Hills Estates trailer park. So let's try to figure out what that means. So along 84, let's see where Highway 84 is. Let's see. I-84. Ah, jeez, that's not it. They called it along State Road 84. Okay, so that's this road right here. So I guess there's like a bike path along it. You can see it right there. I think that's what this is right here. You know, or even right there, this little New River Greenway thing down here. I don't think that's a road. Let's see if that's a bike path. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, that's a bike path, right? I mean, clearly, you're not going to have cars on there. So this is a bike path. So from work, right here, she would probably, let's see, go here and then across and then go this direction all the way down here somewhere. Not sure why I have that little marker there. There's a reason though. Alright, where are we at here in terms of the goal? Let's see. I think we need at least 10 more memberships, and then I'll donate 5 memberships. That's 15. We do 10 more, we'll have 15 more memberships, and 15 more shots for GSU PM. Now it's just sort of like a challenge, you know. Alright, Davie Police on Saturday issued a teletype message to local police departments describing Kalitan as endangered, and then we're down here. Kalitan's normally rides the 3 miles on a bike westbound along State Road 84 to a babysitter's home in the Western Hills Estate Trailer Park. And I think those are right over here. Somewhere in this little trailer park area, but I think she lives over there too. When she did not arrive to pick up her 2 small sons by 1:15 a.m., her babysitter reported her missing to Davie Police. Hey, there's Lanky Tor, got 5 of them in there. Amazing. She is a devoted mother who would never, ever not pick up the children, said her husband. And she's not in that one. GSU didn't make it. I don't know why I said PM. That's not. No, that is right. GSU PM. So we got Jenna, Mary, Sergeant Rigby, Pepper, Elaine, and Patricia. Welcome. I feel it's coming, man. It's coming. We just got... So... Caitlin normally rides the 3 mile on a bike path westbound along State Road 25, and then she picks up her kids, but on her bike? Or does she live in the same trailer park and just sort of walks home from there? Western Hills Estates Trailer Park. When she did not arrive to pick up her 2 small sons by 1:15 a.m., her babysitter reported her missing to Davie Police. She is a devoted mother who would never, ever not pick up the children. This is not a standard missing person situation. She certainly isn't going to run away from home on a beach cruiser. Kalitan said the outside bicycle route is dark in many stretches and lit only at intersections. A Broward Sheriff's Office helicopter was called on Saturday to conduct an air search along State Road 84 and the canal that runs along the section that Catan normally rides. Steve Kalitan said flyers were being distributed in the area and several friends and neighbors were being organized today by police to conduct a foot search of the bike route. Linda Catan is described as 5 foot 6 inches tall, 110 pounds, with long blonde hair and green eyes. She was wearing a yellow short sleeve sweatshirt and blue jeans and carrying a small backpack. She was riding a men's 10-speed beach cruiser bicycle. Well, so that makes a similarity, both on 10 speeds, but it's not really a huge. That was the 23rd, and then we move on to this one. Somewhere in here. Right there. Waitress found dead in Coral Springs. So this is the very next day. So she went missing and then found while that other guy was in jail. So why they ever associated the two is really kind of ridiculous, right? The body of a Davie woman who disappeared Thursday night after leaving work on her bicycle was found in a Coral Springs field Sunday morning, not far from where Stacy Jazvac's, waitress found dead in Coral Springs, not a canal though. So the body of a Davie woman who disappeared Thursday night after leaving work on her bicycle was found in Coral Springs field Sunday morning, not far from where Stacy Jazvac's body was found February 14th. I guess you could say, unless they have the wrong person in the other case, right? Coral Springs police confirmed that the body was that of Linda Kalitan, 29, a Davie waitress and mother of 2. She was last seen working at Garcia's Mexican restaurant in Davie at about 10:30 p.m. Thursday night. 2 fishermen found her body at about 6:40 a.m. Sunday, police said. Neither police nor the Broward Medical Examiner's Office would say how Kalitan died. They also refused to pinpoint exactly where her body was found, except to say it was in a field near Coral Ridge and Riverside Drives. And guess where that was? I mean, it's right here. Okay, so right where Stacy Jazvac's body was found is where Linda Kalitan's body was found. Now, was that because the killer knew that Stacy's body was found there and thought, hey, I can put one up there too and they'll think that's associated with that person? I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? Like, look, if you pull out this far, 2 bodies in a week period are found right here in this little tiny spot. And that's why mapping and stuff matters, because look, how can you say that's not associated in some way? Whether the killer of Kalitan just put her body there because another body was found near there, or it's the same killer. I mean, because there's too much space and too many random places you could put a body, and why there? Let me see what it looked like back then. Oh, look at that. See, totally different. See, look at the stuff's there, but when you went back to 1995, there's basically a whole field here. So I would actually move that. I'd probably put that like kind of down in here somewhere. What do you guys think of that? Yeah, it does seem like there'd have to be some connection of some sort. And like there's 360 degree, or not 360, but camera views down here of this spot. Interestingly, why pick that spot? It's almost like somebody wanted to do that because they knew that these killings happened there. I mean, just for, I don't think it's the killer. I think it's somebody who's, just curious about crime. I mean, it's kind of odd. I mean, of all the places on here, you got 2 camera shots right next to where these bodies were. All right, guys, if you guys do 5 more memberships, I'll donate 5 myself. All right, so we're back to 2 fishermen found her body, and then I think we need to go to the next page, so 7A. This is 2A, so let's go to 126 down here. Maybe that's close. So that one more. Right, now they got this really kind of mapped out pretty good here, so let's see. There's no connection to Stacy's case, they say. Right, so why were they associated at any point? The thing is there is a connection. It's just more probably like, ooh, they had a body there, I'll put one there too, and they'll associate it with that person. On Sunday, minutes before police arrived at the Kalitan's mobile home at 491 Southwest 131st. All right, so guess where that is, everybody? Check this out. Right there. I mean, so this lady, Linda Calitan, lived right there, which is right near McDonald's that the other victim, Carrie Weldgen, worked. And then Carrie Weldgen lived right there. And apparently Stacy worked, where is it? Just right down the street from there, or right there, right? Garcia's restaurant. So all right in here. I mean, that is crazy also, right? The 2 different victims that were both, young adults, killed and bodies dumped within a year of each other, and they lived right near each other in this little area right here. Because again, you back out, and look how small that is. Just right here. What are the odds of that? Why wouldn't there be a victim there and then a victim over here or something? But when you got a geographical distances like this, that's when you start wondering. Pretty strange. I'm waiting for the police. Let's see. I'm waiting for the police to call, he said. Let me see, where are we at? On Sunday, minutes before police arrived at the Kalitan mobile home at 491 Southwest 131st Avenue to notify the family that she'd been found dead. Her husband, Steve, 29, a cabinet maker, told reporters he was still hopeful she was safe. I'm waiting for the police to call, he said. I've called them. They haven't called me. Meanwhile, neighbors and police cadets in Davie were conducting a ground search from the restaurant, 8800 State Road 84, along the bike trail running from Pine Island Road. Let's try to map this out. Pine Island Road. Okay, yeah, so that's exactly what I have. Here's the restaurant, and then Pine Island Road, west to 131st Avenue. Okay, so where's 131st? Oh wow, so all the way over here. So her house is on 131st Avenue. But maybe he took this whole... Is there a way to... How do you get across from there, though? So you're on this bike path. And I don't know if it looked like this back then 100% or anything, but... I mean, what do? You go over here and then sort of figure out a way to get across. There's probably a way to do it, but don't know. Meanwhile, neighbors and police cadets, I think we're right here, it said, along the bike trail running from Pine Island Road west to 131st Avenue. The route Kalitan usually took home from work. While they searched, they received word that the body had been found in Coral Springs, 12 miles away. Neighbors were visibly upset at the news. She minded her own business, said Loretta Meehan. I never knew her that good. She was always home, always busy. It's like that little Stacy thing, she added. That really hit me hard, too. Coral Springs and Davie police refused to comment on any connection between Kalitan's death and the slaying of Jazvac. Right, well, Jazvac, the guy who, at this time, I mean, you already had an arrest made in the case. So that person couldn't have done it. The Lauderdale Lakes girl disappeared the evening of January 30th as she rode her bicycle to a neighborhood store. So isn't that weird, you guys, that you got the Staci case. She was riding a 10-speed, and then Kalitan was riding a 10-speed, and they were both abducted while riding the 10-speeds, and then their bodies were placed somewhere in a field, and they were found right next to each other. However, the person they arrested is into, he said the ages of 11, to 20, But then you have the other situation where the other two girls live right next to each other. It's just, it's really weird, this one. There's 3 different cases, and they're all inside of a year of each other, all in the same general area. Navarro last week called Michael Rivera, 23, of North Lauderdale, the prime suspect in the Jazvac murder, but Rivera has not been charged in the case. He was arrested a week before Kalitan's disappearance. Right, so there you go. And charged with trying to strangle a Coral Springs girl. So that guy absolutely has no chance of being related to, no chance of being the killer of Kalitan. Whether there's another person that he was associated with, because if you remember, there were 3 suspects they had. So who knows? You pointed the location of that field in your paper, he said. Now everybody in the world knows it's a good place. Yeah, there you go. Watch this. Here we go. Being in jail when Kalitan was killed doesn't absolve Rivera of suspicion in Jazvac's murder, Sheriff spokesman George Crolius said. You printed the location of that field in your paper, he said. Now everybody in the world knows it's a good place to dump bodies. It doesn't have any effect on our suspect. Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was saying a minute ago. But Rivera's attorney, Richard Garfield, said the discovery of Kalitan's body would tend to indicate that Rivera didn't do the other one. Right, so that's what I was saying a minute ago, is maybe they got the wrong guy on that one, right? Yeah, it does do that, actually. Because it's like, okay, if there's a killer that was their dumping ground, and my guy was in prison, and he says he didn't do it, then, he's in jail, and he said he didn't do it, then maybe he didn't do it because there's this other body that was dumped in the same place. However, I would argue that once it was put in the paper, then another killer might go, shit, I could just put a body right over where that other one was, and they would think that person did it. Isn't that crazy? Wow, this feels like old times right here. It's like old times. But hey, you guys, as a unit, you can do it, man. We can do you got to do 5 more memberships, and then I'll donate 5, and one last ditch attempt to get GSU PM her membership. And all the while, we're putting everybody's name over here into a, we're spinning for the notebook at the same time. So if you do $5 or more, you put in the notebook. We've hit one of those lulls. Yeah, I mean, when they're not solved, it's just it's a nightmare. Now there's Lisa Holland. There's one of them. We're getting close to our end of the month coming up. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think we got a couple, or some copies, right, that came in. So thank you to Paulette and Lawrence for the coffees. There you go. I think that's it, right? I'm not sure if there was another one. Alright, so Coral Springs Sergeant Paul Murray said investigators knew nothing about reports from neighbors that a red truck was seen in the neighborhood Saturday. Another red truck. A neighborhood couple who would not give their names told the Herald they saw a red pickup parked under trees in a field, but they said they had not yet reported. Man, that's interesting because it wasn't a red pickup truck. Yeah, it says right here, a red pickup truck also was seen in the Jazvac girls' neighborhood. Man, this does sort of help that killer out, doesn't it? I mean, it does. Like, it absolutely is information that is, you know, exculpatory, I guess you could say, of the person that was a Rivera. Although he admitted somehow to doing that, but it is interesting, right? Because now there's this red pickup truck again. But it might have been that they read in the paper, so now they're all seeing red pickup trucks. You know, they're wanting to see a connection, so people are reporting it. A red pickup truck also was seen in the Jazvac's girls' neighborhood the night she disappeared. Sunday night, Kalitan's family was struggling to come to grips with her death. We're in terrible situations, said Alicia Kalitan, Linda's mother-in-law. Needless to say, my son is devastated. Though the couple had been separated, so this was the part I was like, oh, wow, okay. So now, though the couple had been separated for several weeks, they were on good terms, Stephen Kalitan said earlier. Neighbors said the Kalitans had two sons, Sebastian, about 8, and David, about 5. Kalitan, a native of Auburn, New York, had been studying art at Broward Community College, according to her mother-in-law. I don't know what kind of art she wanted to do, Alicia Kalitan said. I can't say anything more. I have a lot of distressed people in the next room. So that's that one. I think that was the, 24th? And we'll move on to this one. Divers find murder victim's bike. A team of divers Tuesday found murder victim Linda Kalitan's blue beach bicycle and other crime evidence in a Davie Canal along State Road 84 near the isolated spot where police think she was last seen. We think this is a good break, said Lieutenant Paul Schaefer of the Coral Springs Police Department, which has been investigating the murder since the 29-year-old Davie woman's body was found in a Coral Springs field early Sunday. We have a location. Now we're asking for any more information, no matter how small. Police wouldn't say that other evidence they found in the 17-foot deep stretch of the North River Canal near Hiatus Road, or whether there were any suspects. Although the bodies of Kalitan and 11-year-old Stacy Jazvac of Lauderdale Lakes were found in the same field. I mean, you guys, that's nuts, right? Officials from the Broward Sheriff's Office say the two cases aren't related. Michael Rivera, a 23-year-old North Lauderdale man, was still the prime suspect in the Jazvac case Tuesday, but hasn't been charged, they said. Kalitan's mother-in-law, Alicia Kalitan, of Plantation, said she and her son Steve, who recently became separated from Linda, were encouraged by new evidence. Steve is just devastated, but he feels better that they found something because they're closer to finding out who did this. Police say they decided to explore part of the canal after receiving a tip from a motorist who said he saw a woman matching Kalitan's description bicycling along the canal between 10:30 and 11 p.m. Thursday. The woman was spotted halfway between Garcia's restaurant at Pine Island Road and State Road 84, where Kalitan was working, and Kalitan's Davy home, so she was about halfway. I think that's why. Her bike was found here in the canal, right around in this area. That's about right. Maybe closer to there, I guess. So there's a real good possibility that the motorist saw Kalitan's only moments before she was abducted. Yeah, I mean, it's so close. And Kalitan, a mother of two and an art student who waitressed at night, frequently rode her bike to work along a narrow bike path bounded by State Road 84. I mean, that is a creepy bike path. I don't care how you look at it. I mean, you go down here, and I mean, look how you're just at night. You're so isolated, you know. You're riding along. These guys, there's nothing going to happen with the cars. Nobody's going to help you. Got a wall. I don't know how long this wall's been there, but it's just, you know. I think at night it'd be creepy as hell to be on that thing. Come on, you guys, no takers for the other 4 memberships? See, this is where, like, right in here. Like, look at this. Wouldn't you be creeped out at night biking in there? Yeah, so we need 4 more memberships, or just, you know, 4 $5 super chats for me to donate 5 memberships, and then we'll see what the hell happens, because I don't know what's going on. Normally when we have one person that is signed up to get a free membership, and everybody starts giving memberships, it lands on one of those people right away, like within 10. But this one isn't. We had a tough one with GSU there. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be. This is one of those ones where when she probably first saw the person, it was like Abby and Libby, thinking, oh my God, you know, and then I was hoping it would just go away, and it didn't. Absolute nightmare, you know. Let's see. She was last seen working at Garcia's at 10:30. She was wearing a yellow short-sleeve sweatshirt and jeans, and was probably carrying a small backpack, along with her husband and 2 children, Sebastian and David Kalitan. These are parents, Robert and Shirley. This is how you can do genealogy, by the way, like all these different names that you can add into a tree. All right, and we go all the way to April 5th. So, like, that was, they quit covering it at that time. So let's see what this one's. Coral Springs police investigating the slaying of Davie woman have seized a car they believe was used to carry Linda Kalitan from where she was last seen to where her body was found. Police refused Friday to say whether the owner of the car, who lives in a mobile home park near where the victim lived, well, there you go. See, and that's where, you know, when we were talking earlier, that's what I was thinking, is the killer would live, you know, possibly in this area and saw them. See, like they actually knew that, you know, they'd seen these girls walking around and they became targets. So that'd be pretty interesting. Police refused Friday to say whether the owner of the car, who lives in a mobile home park near where the victim lived, is a suspect. A witness told police the car, a rust-colored 1973 Ford with tinted windows, was parked in the State Road 84 median, its flashers blinking just west. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, let's see. Let's put that in there. So, Hiatus Road. Oh, that's right there. See, look at that, just west. So, kind of her bike was there, and this guy was in the median. So, where would you say that would be? Let's read that again. This tinted window was parked in the State Road 84 median. So this is 84 right there. So right here, let's go down and look. Oh, that doesn't work. I don't know how that fits. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's changed or what it looks like, but medium would be like right there, right? Or something like right here. But how would he do something if he was over there? Or maybe it was over here. No, because it says it was parked on the State Road 84 median. Its flashers blinking just west of Hiatus Road when Kalitan disappeared February 20th. So we'll just say somewhere around in here. I'll just, 1973 Ford tinted windows. Hey, Sandy Shirley gifted one. We're only 3 short now. Sandy Shirley. All right. Thank you. All right. Its flashers blinking just west of Hiatus Road when Kalitan disappeared February 20th, according to an affidavit. Kalitan, 29, left her job at Garcia's Scottsdale Restaurant, 8800, I guess Garcia's of Scottsdale Restaurant, that's what it's called, 8800 State Road 84 at 10:30 that night. She rode her bicycle towards her home at the Western Hills Estate Trailer Park at 491 Southwest 131st Avenue. One witness saw her at 11 p.m. just west of Hiatus Road, near where her bicycle was found. A second witness said the car was in the median at about 11:15 p.m., according to the affidavit. 3 days later, I mean, what a crazy place. You must have known that she was going to be driving there. 3 days later, her body was discovered in a Coral Springs canal. Riley swore out the affidavit to obtain a search warrant for the car. It was granted by Circuit Judge Arthur J. Franza. When they searched the car last week, police took samples of fibers, a gold-colored piece of metal, a paper towel, a pair of scissors, a yellow-handled plant trimmer, a red-handled cutting device, a sponge, a plastic sheet, tire impressions, and 2 swabs of an unknown substance found on the driver's seat. Man, they did this in '86. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Police were hoping to find a link between Kalitan and the evidence they seized. The man the affidavit described as the owner of the car, Robert Dittrich, 27, of 900 Southwest 116th Way in West Broward, said he was not involved. So they have his name. Yeah, let me do something really quick on Ben Verified. Just see what the hell's going on. That last name isn't too common. So that guy would be, what, 40, 60, some 6 or so ish, you know. Oh, there he is. Yeah. So got him right there. Found him. I'm gonna go to the court records. I just want to see if there's anything that popped up on there since that day. Well, we got just possession of controlled substances. This one says habitual offender, second conviction for most serious crimes, enhancement. What does that mean? This has a lot of stuff in there, though. Wow, driving under, you know, a lot of driving things. There's an assault and battery, public disorderly conduct, DUIs, bunch of those. I mean, this guy's like, man, is he ever not in court? I mean, it goes on and on forever in here. Malicious injury to animals, personal property. Wow, this person, this is back in 1997. I mean, don't serial killers hurt animals? I don't think I've ever seen somebody with this man. The guy that they were looking into, whose car that was, has just an incredibly, one of the longest criminal records I've ever seen. It just goes on and on, like 100 of them. I had nothing to do with anything. I don't know what you're talking about, Dittrich said Friday night when reached at his home. Captain John Fujerick refused to discuss whether Dittrich is a suspect. Neighbor Corrine Casella said she didn't believe Dittrich could have anything to do with the crime. She described him as a pleasant young man. Yeah, he sounds great, you know. Sounds fantastic. You know, it's interesting, right? Like, they probably determined this guy had nothing to do with it, but when you look at his record since this time, it's massive. You know, like, knowing what I know of him, I don't think he would have been involved, she said. Okay, well. Yeah, now this is that other one. So here's Kalitan. And then, you know, like it kind of, now we see Carrie Weldgen's name in a Kalitan article. So let's see what it says. Let's just read this one. All right. But you guys, 3 more memberships, and then I'll do 5, then it'll be 8. All right. Detective says murder case has 1 missing piece. That says worked on in almost 15, or 1 missing piece worked on in almost 15 years on the Coral Springs Police Department. Vernon recently transferred from the homicide to Economic Crime Detective Unit, figures the Kalitan case will be his last murder investigation. He is only a couple of years from retirement. I can replay everything in my mind from the time she left her restaurant until she was found, Vernon said. It's like a videotape, but there's a piece missing. I don't have a face for the killer. A recent television Crime Stoppers dramatization recreated Vernon's mental picture. I mean, I'd like to see that. Maybe we can find that somewhere on YouTube. Usually has some of these old videos like that. It depicted Linda Kalitan, a trim blonde who looks younger than she is, leaving Garcia's restaurant near Pine Island Road and State Road 84 about 10:30 p.m. on February 20th. She rode west along a bike path next to the lonely dark highway on a 4-mile trip to the Western Hills Estates mobile home park at 130th Avenue, where her 2 boys were waiting at a babysitter's. But midway through the trip, a man appeared from the bushes. Man, just like that one when we were just looking at that a minute ago. Bushes, and grabbed Kalitan. 3 days later, her body was found in a canal along a vacant field in Coral Springs. That's where Vernon and Riley entered the case. It was not one of those spontaneous things. There's a guy, where a guy was driving down the road and says, "Gee, I'm going for her," Vernon said. It wasn't a random thing. Yeah, that's what I think too. I mean, just when we were just talking about it a minute ago, right? Like I was thinking, it looked like he tracked her down, or if that was the car parked there, that means he's waiting for her specifically. I mean, why would you think there'd be somebody else going by there? After some 300 to 400 interviews, the detectives feel as if they know Linda Kalitan almost as well as her family did. Let's see. Where was I? Vernon said. They also think they have a fairly good idea about what kind of man killed her. The detectives have 2 descriptions. The first is a suspect, a white man in his early 20s, white collar length. They should have been able to collect DNA from her. Brown hair, weighing 155 to 160 pounds, with a slender build. The second is of a car seen near the spot of the bike path where Linda Kalitan, that was the rusty 1973 Ford, right, was thought to have been abducted. It is an early 1970 model 2-door Mercury Comet Ford Falcon or Maverick, rust-colored with tinted windows and mag wheels. In March, Vernon was hopeful he had found the car in a mobile home park about a mile from the abduction site. But after executing a search warrant, investigators concluded it was the wrong car. Steve Kalitan was hopeful when told about, and that's the guy we just looked up that has a mountain of records. Let's see. Steve Kalitan was hopeful when told about the search. Even relatively minor developments in the case lift his spirits, he said. Anytime I can feel like I can do anything, it makes me feel better, he said. The detectives have told him some things they haven't disclosed publicly, he said, but his mental tape of what happened to his wife is more sketchy. Okay, yeah. Let's see. I don't know what the detectives know, he said. It's hard, but I understand they can't compromise their case. It will be painful to finally find out all the details, but it will be better than the never-ending nagging doubt. Well, Jesus, see, that's what I'm saying. Look how shitty that is. You know, they haven't. This case isn't solved. I couldn't find anywhere where it was solved or anything. Meanwhile, he said he is trying to adjust to both the emotional stress of losing his wife and the difficulties of raising sons Sebastian 9 and David 5 alone. And that's a picture of them over here. I can't become obsessed with the investigation. I have my sons and my work. It's out of my control, obviously, but I have faith in the detectives. The detectives, too, are anxious to draw some final conclusions. The smallest, seemingly unimportant detail might provide the key to solving the case, Vernon said. Following that theory, Vernon and Riley have questioned Broward Community College students who were in art classes with Linda Kalitan, regular passengers on bus routes that she rode. Let's see, that's hard to read that. What does that say? Following that theory, Vernon and Riley have questioned Broward Community College students who were in art classes with Linda Kalitan, regular passengers on bus routes that she rode, co-workers, family, and friends. The detectives have investigated suspects in similar crimes committed in Broward County and compared similar unsolved cases. One of those cases was that of Carrie Weldgen, a 17-year-old whose body was found a year earlier in the canal along State Road 84, less than a mile from the spot where Linda was abducted. Yeah, see, I mean, just look at it like that, you guys. So, wait, I thought she was found down here, actually. I thought it was this canal. That's what, in those articles it came up with this one. But still, it's just right there, you know? Like, this is where Linda was abducted, right around there, and then Carrie Weldgen's found right down in this area. Pretty sure that this Southwest 36th Court is where she was found, in a canal, though. I don't think it was found on that canal that they just mentioned. One of those cases was that of Carrie Weldgen, a 17-year-old whose body was found a year earlier in the canal along State Road 84, less than a mile from the spot where Linda was abducted. I don't know if that matches the information. Let me see. Yeah, police said a resident of a neighborhood near Southwest 121st Avenue and 36th Court found the fully clothed body of a woman between 16 and 21 years old at about 8:15. All right, so if we take that, so that's 121st and 36th Court. And let's see. This is Southwest 36th Court. And this is Southwest 121st. So, you know, it's either right there in the canal or right there in the canal. So it is not, that isn't accurate in there, that she was found in the canal along 84 here, but that made their story sound better. Unless the original stories were wrong, I just doubt it because they were so specific. All right, anyways, but, you know, other than that, it's close, though. It's not, you know, Weldgen lived in a mobile home park just south of Kalitan's. Right. Exactly. She often walked or hitchhiked along State Road 84 and worked at a McDonald's near the entrance to the Western Hills Estates Park. That's where Kalitan lived. So we're talking about Weldgen actually worked right, you know, so like I was just showing you on the map, they're all right next to each other. Vernon said the case is notable because of the similarities and the fact that Linda Kalitan was murdered within a few weeks of 1 year anniversary of the Weldon case. And that's something I saw. I just thought, well, is it not, you know, it's not. So it's March 15th and February 20th. So that's sort of like seasonal. like a seasonal killer, right? You know, it's not the anniversary or anything, but it is within 20-something days, pretty close. So Vernon said the case is notable because of the similarities and the fact that Linda Kalitan was murdered within a few weeks of the 1-year anniversary of the Weldgen case. It fits what crime experts call an anniversary reaction, Vernon said, a theory that some criminals are compelled to strike on certain dates. Like the Kalitan investigation, the Weldgen case remains unsolved. I think there's another one on the same day. Still a piece missing. So I think it's basically the same article, just different format. All right, so murder suspect yet to go to trial. So let's see. I'm just going to read this part over here. It was Peck who once ran a door-to-door sales business who first led investigators to Rivera. Malvinda says he also needs more time to evaluate evidence in the Coral Springs police investigation into the murder of Linda Kalitan, whose body was found about 150 feet. So is Malvinda his attorney? Because I don't know why investigators... Yeah, that's right. So it's his attorney. And I definitely understand why his attorney would want to look into that case, don't you guys? Because there's a body found right in the same field within a week of, you know, his client's, you know, supposed victim, right? And so that is interesting. We were talking about that earlier. So it says Malvina said he also, on the Linda Kalitan, his body was found about 150. So his attorney wants more time. There were enough similarities between the two murders. Both victims were abducted while riding bicycles, found in the same field, sexually assaulted and killed by lack of oxygen. That they could have been done by the same person. Yeah, and so that's interesting, right? Because you have Kalitan and I think it was how do you pronounce that? Jazvac, 11-year-old, and then Kalitan's 29. They were both abducted while riding a bike, and their bodies were both found in the exact same field. Okay? I mean, that's interesting. However, the killer that was arrested for Jazvac was in jail when Kalitan was killed. So for me, it's it's possible then that it's a different it's possible, I guess, to say that the killer that they claim killed Jazvac didn't actually do it, and somebody else, or, which I think is most likely, is that another killer used the opportunity to kill at that point and place a body in the same location as the other one to make it look like somebody else did it. And, you know, to point away from himself. Both were abducted riding bicycles, found in the same field, sexually assaulted and killed by lack of oxygen. That would clear Rivera, who was in jail at the time of Kalitan's abduction. But just as complicated as the trial could be the process of, impaneling a jury. All right, so don't really want to go into that portion. This is from February 8th. I think there's one more from 2003. After Linda Kalitan was reported missing in 1986, Lynette Pelling of the Davie Mounted Patrol Citizen Crime Watch helped in the search. Interesting. That's her, somebody looking on that path over there. So now I'm talking about Rivera again in here. Alright, I'll make one last attempt. It's okay if you guys don't want to do it. But if you have the ability to, if you guys can do 3 more channel memberships, then I will do 5 memberships myself. And that way we can get 8 more attempts at the GSU PM getting a membership, and just adding more members to the channel. Okay? But if not, that's okay too. Let's see. Well, he confessed to killing the girl on the bike. She said he followed him, and he said he followed him, etc. Let's just see what this says right here. The second murder was committed. I guess it was started on 1B. Let me see what happens. How far back is that? Oh, right here, right? Yeah, this is B, so right here. Death row appeal. Stacy Jazvac found February 14th, 1986. Linda Kalitan found February 23rd, 1986. Terry Gilchrist found May 21st, 1990. Coral Ridge Drive. Maybe I got some more to look into then. 1997 near Atlantic Boulevard and Coral Ridge Drive. The Coral Ridge Drive Killer, they should call this person. Look at this. Coral Ridge and Riverside. Riverside and Coral, these are Stacy and Linda Kalitan in the same spot. Then 5500 Coral Ridge Drive. Where the hell's that? So that's where another body was found right there. A different case. Man, I might have to look those ones up on the side. And no, you don't need to help. I can do it. Is anybody here? It's just like nobody's... we see the agreed gray and then Kayla good point like 10 minutes ago, and there's no updates after that. Nine days after Stacy Jazvac's body was found in Coral Springs Field, the body of a second female was found in a field just blocks away by the time Michael Rivera was in custody. Attorneys for Rivera point to that unsolved crime and 2 others in subsequent years in which the bodies were also dumped in Coral Springs as evidence that Rivera is innocent and a different killer is responsible for Stacy's death. A bid by death row inmate Michael Rivera to be cleared in a 1986 homicide gained momentum Tuesday when prosecutors indicated they wouldn't object to new DNA tests. The test would be conducted on evidence collected from a second murder scene to determine if the 2 crime scenes could be related. Rivera, 41, is hoping to show that Stacy Jazvac and Linda Kalitan, whose bodies were found in the same Coral Springs field just 9 days apart, were killed by the same attacker. If a link can be established, it will almost certainly win him a new trial. Well, whatever happened? Who's got the DNA? I mean, why not just do IgG on that? The second murder was committed while Rivera was already behind bars. Rivera was condemned for the 1986 slaying of 11-year-old Jazvac. His case received a boost last week when DNA testing on several hairs found on Jazvac's body determined the hairs were not Rivera's. Testing on another hair was inconclusive. Now defense attorney Martin McLean wants to compare those same hairs to any genetic material preserved from the murder of Kalitan, a 29-year-old Davie woman. We're not going to stand in the way of the defense investigating their case, said Assistant Attorney Susan Bailey, speaking after a morning status hearing on the Rivera case. before Broward Circuit Judge Paul Bachman in Fort Lauderdale. She said she's willing to discuss McLean's request. This guy's name is... Whatever happened with it? Michael Rivera. Hey, thanks, Uniquely Susan Retired. We only got 2 more to go, you guys. 2 more to go. Who's going to do it? It doesn't have to even be those. It could just be a regular super chat. But $5, $10 more is all we need total to reach the goal where I can give away 5 memberships. Plus, I'm giving away the whole notebook combination package. Maybe we can find him in newspapers, this newspaper here. Newspapers.com. Michael, that's not it. Jeez, I put your name in there. Hey, thanks, Moofies. One more. Very cool. Alright. So his name is Michael Rivera. Yeah, let's just see what paper that was. Miami Herald. Alright, so that was the jury. Evidence might have swayed jury. So they're talking about the... Yeah, I mean, the other body that was found. I think it would make you... I think that would actually be something... What do you guys think? If you were on a jury and you had evidence that another body within a week of your client's victim being found, that was found in the exact same field, but your guy was already in jail, would that make somebody have some sort of reasonable doubt of some sort? I mean, that is sort of interesting, isn't it? I mean, I think that would make you go, that's weird. Okay, emojis. Well, you got the emojis. Sometimes we do members only stuff, but we just need one more. That's it. A former employee testified Rivera admitted to the murder in obscene telephone calls. 3 inmates testified to hearing incriminating admissions from Rivera. You mean like Ricky Davis? The defendant admitted to exposing himself in public and accosting young girls. It seemed like when he went in there to deliberate, everybody knew right away he was guilty, said Verdeau. Rivera's attorney have dismissed them as pure fantasy. The statements to detectives as bizarre, drug-fueled game of cat and mouse. This one's sort of interesting. Let me do 2004 to 2010. See if we can find some updates. Hey, thanks, Chicken Wing, and there you go. All right. And thank you guys for your generosity in getting channel memberships out there. And now we're going to do... So, who got that one? Insanity Mom. We got Maya's Girl. And Olivia Nile, and GSU PM gets left in the cold yet again. So now we're going to try right here. The 5 memberships on my side. So let's see what happens. Will it happen? Mo Money, Martine Verhulst, Katie Lynn, Becky, and L.A. In-law. Come on, you guys. That's insane. Unreal, everybody. Unreal. Never seen anything like it. I know. Yeah. Now this is 2004. What happened here? Murder case is back in court. An attorney for a man on death row is hoping a Broward judge will agree that his client is not guilty of murder of an 11-year-old girl. Marty McLean has filed a motion citing several problems with death row inmate Michael Rivera. McCain is scheduled to ask Circuit Judge Paul Bachman in a 8:45 a.m. hearing today to review the motion and grant Rivera an evidentiary hearing, which is the first step to an overturned conviction. Rivera was sentenced to death in... this is one of those cases I wouldn't give the death penalty to. I mean, if anything, you know, this is one of those ones where it's too many things going on. Like, I'm for the death penalty in cases where there's no chance that your guy, you know, it's like you're on videotape killing. Like, it should be, I think death penalty should be sort of rare, way more rare, and life in prison without parole much more common. But the death penalty should be for things that it's absolutely clear, 100%, like, you know, you've got DNA, you know, semen or something, and an assault case, plus, like, you know, other evidence that there is no reasonable, any doubt at all, like there's no chance, right? Like Koberger, for example. He's a death penalty type guy. 100%. There's no chance at all that Koberger didn't do it. There's absolutely no chance at all. How do you know, Gray? What about Brent Kopaka, you bastard? Right. Rivera was sentenced to death. Well, let's see. Well, I want to go check more. Let's see. So that was 2000 and... that was July 27th. What happens if we go like January of 2005? Michael Rivera with the... I don't know. Let's see, 2006. It's got a kind of a common name, unfortunately. He has one victim. That's all they got him for. Kind of a weird one, you know? That is interesting information. I don't know. I mean, it's weird that he doesn't show up anywhere else after that. This is 2018. What's going on in this one? 11-year-old Stacy Lynn Jazvac left her laundromat. Okay. So what happened? In this case is before the court on appeal from an order denying a motion to vacate his sentence of death under Florida rule of criminal. So he's still out there? He's been on death row for, what, 40 years? Oh, maybe down here. A manager of a plantation restaurant testified that he had received over 200 telephone calls during a 2-year period from an anonymous male caller. On February 7th, the Friday before Stacy's body was discovered, the caller identified him, but she went missing on January 30th. Before Stacy's body was discovered, the caller identified himself as Tony and said that he had that Stacy girl while wearing pantyhose and that he had put an ether rag over her face. But wasn't that all in the paper already? He could have got that from? The jury returned a verdict of guilty as charged. During the penalty phase, the state introduced evidence of prior convictions. Rivera introduced the testimony of his sister Elisa and Miriam, through whom the jury learned that Rivera was himself the victim of child molestation. What do you guys think about that? It's pretty weird. Oh yeah, I'm not sorry. I can't see your. Like if I click on something, it stays on the screen. I have 4 monitors, and by the way, the one I was reading was actually on front of the one that would show me that the image was on the screen. Sorry about that. Oh well, that's where you guys got to type in look at. Then I see it. Yeah, not tonight though. I think it was in this article, right? Well, I guess let's take a look at it. Alright, let's see. What do we got here? Maybe there's just something really quick I can... So the first one is Terry Gilchrist. And this would be May 1990, Florida. Yeah, so this is going to be right after this happened. Because she was the 21st. So it said, the body of a woman. Let me just create a folder over here just in case. Terry Gilchrist. And this one is 1990 05/21. Alright, so it says the body of a woman was found by a motorist on Monday in a field. Look how crazy that is. In a field off Coral Ridge Drive north of Wiles Road. So let's see. Alright, we'll just do this one now. Okay. And they said Coral Ridge Drive. Well, we already had the 5500 one, right? That's what it said. Let's see if this makes sense. So right here, and then what does it say? By motorists on Monday in a field off Coral Ridge Drive north of Wiles Road. So was this Wiles Road right there? Westview. This is Wiles. They never give you the precise information. But 5500 Coral Ridge Drive is right there. And that's what it said in the map on this other document over here. Here, let me look at something really fast. 'Cause they also have the address for who is it? It was the guy. I don't know. Ah, crap. So we have the actual address for Kalitan right here. So let's let me type that in really fast. I just want to make sure I got it exactly. 11600 Riverside Drive. Yep, Jesus. Ugh. What's the area? God dang it. That's where a bike was found. That's right, she was found right up here. And where's Riverside? That's Riverside Drive right there. Yeah, well, it looks like it's close. I don't want to, that's not going to work. It just keeps moving all over the place. Don't be shy, anybody. You guys can still help support the channel tonight. You don't have to, though, but, you know, we are still sitting here. New DNA test expected. Where the hell is the one I was just looking at? Is this it? Okay, there we go. Terry Ann Gilchrist, 35, was strangled within, so she's 35, within about 24 hours of when her body was found on Monday morning, police and the Broward Medical Examiner office said. Gilchrist had no known employment, and her last known address was in the Hammondville Road area of Pompano Beach, police said. The cause of death was ligature strangulation, which means the killer used an object rather than hands. Police had no motive for the slaying on Monday night, nor were there any leads on suspects, Sergeant Jeffrey R. Maslin said. The motorist who called police saw the body about 6:30 a.m. in a vacant field about 20 feet from the Coral Ridge Drive and a quarter-mile north of Wiles Road. Police said the road is generally used by motorists heading for Sawgrass Expressway. Vacant land and a cow pastures are on either side of the road. Okay, I think I've already... I keep having to open all these different files here. 5500 Coral Ridge Drive. So I've got her folder, Terry Gilchrist, 5500 Coral Ridge Drive. So just up the road. Pretty crazy. And they said a quarter mile from here. Does that make sense? So if I just measure that, Is that about right? It's 0.13. So let's see what it looked like here in 1995. Oh, look at that. That's like totally different. Complete field. See that, you guys? So that means it's just probably like right here. And it said, saw the body at 6:30 a.m. in a vacant field about 20 feet from Coral Ridge Drive and a quarter-mile north of Wiles Road. Okay, so this is Wiles Road, right here. So if you say about a quarter mile, if I go, that is, well, it's point, yeah, so that makes sense. If I go, oh wait, what's going on there? Wrong device. This one. Yeah, see, a quarter mile is about right there. So, and she was found, you know, let's just say like right here. Anyone with information about the case is asked to call detective. Alright, so we go there, and this is on the 22nd. So let's see, 22nd, 23rd, there's an article. Strange woman identified, strangled woman, that's strange, I was like, strangled woman identified as convicted. That's what I was going to say. When they said she was jobless, I was about to say she's a sex worker. Identified as convicted prostitute forger. So now they're not going to cover her case. I'd be shocked if we find another. That was the 22nd. Okay, and then it goes to the 23rd. So there is something on the. Let's go to the 25th. And forget it. Yeah, let me put quotes around her name. That'll really narrow it down. I knew that was going to happen, though. See that? You got 22nd, 23rd. Oh, she's a sex worker. Forget it, forget it, forget it, forget it, forget it, forget it. Never covered again there, but it looks like in June. Let's see. All right, here we go. I mean, it's the same way every single time, you know. Police seek driver of truck seen picking up women. Well, there you go. Is this a truck driver? Police are looking for the driver of a beat-up pickup truck. No. Was it red? That may have picked up Pompano Beach woman whose body was found recently in a remote section of Coral Springs. A woman fitting the description of Terry Ann Gilchrist, 35, was seen entering an old white pickup truck between 5:30 and 5:45 a.m. May 20th near Hammondville Road in Pompano Beach. Police, that's probably a place for sex workers. Police are looking for a late 1960s or early 1970s model truck in poor condition with utility boxes on its sides. The man driving the truck was described only as white and heavy set with dark hair. Yeah, was he tall? Where was Rex Heuermann at the time? Gilchrist had been strangled to death and her body dumped in a grassy area near vacant fields in the 5500 block of Coral Ridge Drive. A passing motorist discovered the body and notified police at 6:30 a.m. I'm going to throw that one in the folder. There we go. So there was June. Let me see if there's any more. You have to. You used to put a dot next to it, but now it feels like I have to slide it around. There it is. Nothing. Then December. It's going to be related to her because it's Random unsolved murders. Terry Ann Gilchrist, 35, whose body was found by a motorist in a field. The cases of Terry Gilchrist and Ivelisse Begaris are typical. Gilchrist was strangled within about 24 hours of the time her body was found. Coral Springs police and the Broward medical examiner. Who's this other person? Okay, Ivelisse Begaris, 20, found on November 26th in West Glen section of Coral Springs. She was nude and had been strangled. Well, shit. Now we got that one. Oh, man, I gotta make a different folder here. So this is Ivelisse Berio Big. Maybe she's a sex worker too, because of the way they said that. Man, that's nuts. That's crazy. In these cases and others like them that are seemingly random killings, police have little to go on. We have no contact. Almost everyone who has come in contact with the person, and it's time-consuming things to construct. Typical. She had no known employee. Okay, so right here it said Coral Springs Police and the Broward Medical Examiner Office. She had no known employment, and her last known address was in the Hammondville Road area of Pompano Beach. The cause of her death was ligature strangulation, which means the killer used an object rather than hands. The nude body of Begaris was found near the intersection of Northwest 122nd Avenue and 2nd Street in Coral Springs. She worked in a clothing store. Oh, wow. At Sawgrass Mills in Sunrise that left the mall between 10:10 and 10:20 p.m. with 2 other people. Police found her car in the mall lot with 2 tires punctured. There was no evidence that she had been sexually assaulted. She died of asphyxiation or lack of oxygen. For plantation detectives, the murder of Richard Anthony Raccano was not just a whodunit, but started as a who was it? Crazy. 1991. Okay, so now I can go 1991 to 2024, and a better name. Does it show up even ever again? Yeah, it's these are like actual other people with the same name, architects and so forth. Never again mentioned after that. Isn't that wild? So what was the other one over here? Ellen Louise Stowe. Well, before we get to that one, though, I think we need to add to this other one. Yeah, that window's so far away from my head. This is the Ivelisse Begaris. I don't know how to say that name, obviously. But let's go try to find that one. I mean, I don't think you need to put years. You just type it in. And hers was November, so I think right here you can go November 1990, Florida. And then that should pop up with, and then it's going to start on the 20, I was going to say, right, okay, so the 26th is when she went missing or something, but then 28th, right here, you get the first articles that come out. And there's a picture of her. The nude body of a young woman was dumped on a quiet residential street in the West Glen section of the city early Tuesday. Ivalise 20 of Davie was found. So Davie again, you guys. I mean, just like a random little small town. Was found dead near the intersection of Northwest 122nd Avenue and 2nd Street by two residents returning home from a night out, police spokesman Sergeant Jeff Maslin said. There were no stab wounds or gunshot wounds on the body, police said. The Broward Medical Examiner Office said the cause of death was asphyxia or lack of oxygen. Having a body dropped off like this is unusual, Maslin said. Oh, apparently not in your area, right? It appears they were looking for a place to drop the body and didn't know the area. West Glen is about a half mile from the Atlantic Boulevard exit of the Sawgrass Expressway. Begaris was reported missing by her husband after she failed to return home from her sales job in the swim and sports store at the Sawgrass Mills Mall in Sunrise. Police found the woman's car, a 1985 Ford Tempo, still parked in the mall lot. The tires on the passenger side of the car had been punctured with a sharp object. We're looking at the abduction angle and the possibility that she left with someone she knew, Maslin said. Bernard Begaris, the woman's husband, said the couple had been married for about a year and had no children. I have no idea how this thing could have happened, he said. Who would want to do something like this? Bernard Begaris is a driver for a parcel delivery company who had worked in the clothing store. Ivalise worked in the clothing store for less than a month. Apparently left the store when it closed at 10 p.m. on Tuesday night. See, this is similar to the first two, right? I mean, you know, they're out late. They're getting out. Both of them, you know, like they get out. One of them was at a Mexican restaurant. This one, the other one was getting off of work at around 10 something, and then this one's 10 o'clock at night. When last seen alive, Ivalise was wearing a white mini skirt, pink floral blouse, white sweater, and a white low-heel shoe. Or white low-heel shoes. She was carrying a large white purse with brown stripes. This was the second body found in Coral Springs this year. In May, the body of Terry Ann Gilchrist, 35, of Pompano Beach, was found in a field off Coral Ridge Drive, north of Wiles Road. She had been strangled. See, it's like, these are ridiculous, you guys. Okay, police found the woman's car at 1985 Ford Temple still parked in the mall. What mall is this? Oh, there it is. Sawgrass Mills Mall. It's probably still there. Sawgrass Mills Mall. Yep, there it is. You guys, I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look how close that freaking mall is to the first stories that we were talking about. That's ridiculous. And they're just 4 years apart. You know, those killers, they kill over decades. I mean, you gotta admit that that's pretty crazy, right? I mean, we just the distance. I mean, what is this? Yeah, 3 miles away from all these, and if you just go up in the air like that, look how, like, Florida's huge, and then you have in this little tiny area all this stuff going on. It's not even a big city. It's on the outskirts over here. Yeah, 28th, 29th. So she wasn't a sex worker, so boom there. Police searched near the Sawgrass Mills Mall by helicopter on Wednesday for clothes belonging to murder victim Ivalise, whose nude body was found in Coral Springs on Tuesday. It was fruitless. Davy was found near the intersection of Northwest 122nd. Let's see. Northwest 122nd Avenue and 2nd Street, West Glen. So she was found right there, just kind of randomly. But you guys, look at this again. I mean, if I was that guy's attorney, I'd be all over this shit. Look at this right here. Linda, I didn't even, I'm just randomly plugging these things in, you guys. And look at this. Linda's body was here. Stacy's body was there. And now we've got Ivalise's body right here. That's ridiculous. Okay. You guys don't find that just absolutely ridiculous? That there's 3 bodies found in this little tiny area here, and 2 of those 3 are right here. Like the car was found there, and then I don't know. You guys obviously don't feel the same way. Nobody's responding in the chat. Probably weren't paying attention. Oh well. She was last seen leaving her job selling swimsuits at the Sunrise Mall about 10 p.m. on Monday. Anybody see what I just showed you a second ago? Because not one person responded that were related to what I was saying. Police have no motive and no suspects in the case. Maslin said there was no evidence that Begaris had been sexually assaulted. But why was she nude? While the helicopter search failed to find clues, Maslin said police have received a number of telephone tips. Sunrise police have increased the number of officers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see. So we got the 29th. Right, but say something like, oh, wow, that's crazy, because it is. It makes the show a lot more fun for me instead of talking to a brick wall, All right, so here's one. The 1st of December. See what it says in here. Second auto had tires flattened at mall. Well, let's see. Was hers ever solved? I mean, we could type that in instead of the murder of wow. Is that hold on. Is there a name in here? Oh my god, look at this, you guys. This is from February of 2014. Let's see. On November 26, 1990, Ivalise Begaris was leaving her job at a Sawgrass Mills Mall. Police believe the newlywed let's see. Police believe the newlywed was likely headed home, but she found 2 of her car tires slashed, and she would never be seen alive again. Investigators say Begaris was abducted, bound, and assaulted, strangled, and dumped in a Coral Springs neighborhood. Suspects were developed, leads were investigated, but the trail to the killer went cold until now. Yeah. Okay. Now we got to check this one out. According to Coral Springs police at the time, DNA testing used to identify the presence of semen was found to be less accurate than current testing procedures. Cold case detective decided to look into the case again. Man, this is way before DNA was even, I mean, the new technology started around like 2017 or 18, which really were good. So, and several weeks ago, learned that technicians at the Broward County Sheriff's Office Crime Lab made a startling discovery. The DNA of a man named Oba Chandler was found on, God, so what is this Oba Chandler guy is a serial killer? Was found on Begaris's body. Coral Springs police say Chandler, who was executed in 2011 for a triple murder in St. Petersburg, was living less than 2 miles from the mall and quickly fled the area with his wife after the crime. Oh, jeez. I mean, maybe he had something to do with those other, the other two, because we're not going forward in time. We need to go backwards with this guy, right? Coral Springs police say Chandler, who was executed in 2011. Okay, so Detective Brian Koenig is one of the investigators on the case. He said that after Begaris's murder, there was tremendous fear about the random act of violence. It was something that people were afraid of, and now finding out years later who the suspect was, they had every right to be afraid, Koenig told CBS 4. In the St. Pete case in 1989, which is 3 years after those other two murders, I bet you I wouldn't be shocked at all if this guy right here killed, let's see, that he killed Carrie Weldgen and Stacy, and Linda Kalitan, and perhaps that Terry Gilchrist. Because after that, I mean that's insane, right? Because if you live right by that mall, you guys, guess what that means? Now I want to know what kind of color car that guy drove. Because that means he lived next to this mall. So let's say he lived right there. Well, look at the two victims right down here. Weldgen and Kalitan were right in this area, and apparently the guy that killed Ivalise here lived near this mall. I mean, this is insane, right? That's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, anyways, let me keep going. In the St. Pete case in 1989, police say Chandler lured Joan Rogers and her daughter onto his boat, bound them and dumped their half-naked bodies into Tampa Bay with cinder blocks tied around their necks. He was arrested for the crime in 1992. Investigators say even at his execution, Chandler never admitted to any crimes. I believe when they went back into his cell after the execution, he had written a note, and it said that "You're killing an innocent man today," said Detective Daniel Cucci. That was his response, so he basically took it to his grave. Doreen Klein remembers being awakened by police in the middle of the night after a passerby spotted Begaris's body beneath her mailbox more than 2 decades ago. It was almost like somebody came off Sawgrass and decided, I better dump a body quickly. Even though Chandler will never stand trial for Begaris's murder, detectives say the case proved once again the value of DNA. See, here's the thing. That other case is different, right? Like, the whole boat and everything. But Begaris's case is exactly the same type of case as Carrie Weldgen and Linda Kalitan, and those two cases are from 1986, and Begaris's case is 1990. So, if he's living in the area at that time, I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? What's this guy's name again? Let's look him up. Probably only one of these. How many people have the name Oba? That might be him. If it says he's dead, then that's him. Yeah, what year did they say he was executed? Yep, 2011. This is him. So where do they have address history here? All right, let's do these. So this is 1993. He lived right here. And then here we go. We're just going to be right in the area. So it's a little bit north of there. So he lived here. Oba. Come on, you guys. This stuff's absolutely super chat worthy, don't you think? I mean, this is... Okay, now 1987. This is where I lived in 87. Let's see where this is. This is going to be a little bit more over here, I think. I don't know if I got the... Yeah, so he lived over here. So this isn't right in that area. So 93 he lived over there. But maybe he knew the area anyways, and that's why he moved there. I don't know, but... Link for what? I just want to go over what I was going over. No, I'm not sure what you're sending me. Are these other cases in Davie or what? Davie Police Department. So this is Conway. Is this a killer here or somebody that was killed? Yeah, they're just other victims. These are ones that we talked about. Carrie Weldgen. I don't know about Dolores. I might have her. That was 1982. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, all right. There you go. Look at that. So he lives kind of farther away in 87 from over here, so maybe that means he's not the person, but you gotta admit, like, he lived right here and these other two people are there, and this is only I don't know, 7 years later or something like that. What was the other name? I think I'm still missing one of them. It was under Linda Kalitan and over here. But anyways, I'm going to get going, you guys. I could sit here all night and do this, and got to save it for another time. Let me put them over here and put. And I don't think there's been a super chat or a or a coffee or anything for like an hour. See, Ellen Louise Stowe. So that one was 1997, so that one's not really like in that same time frame, but we'll take a look at that one another time. But all right, you guys, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. Reached the goal. Just snuck in there a long time ago. Richard Watts, the Broken Scout, Eden Fox, Lisa Holland, then we had Eden Fox became a new upgraded a membership, then My Father's Alibi came in here, then this account again, and then Uniquely Susie, retired hospice RN, gifted a membership, then Kathy Shiflett gifted one, then Cinnamon Sin Freak, then this account gifted 5, then Zozo gifted a membership, then this account gifted a membership, then KME gifted a membership, then Moofy's gifted a membership, then Kathy Shiflett gifted 5 memberships, then this account gifted a membership, then Lanky Tor gifted 5. Yeah. And then this account, and we already went through a lot of them were found in the canals and everything. Then we got Luke, some of them had errors in the articles. Luke Stedman, Lanky Tor gifted 5. Lisa Holland. Sandy Shirley. Uniquely Susie, retired hospice RN. Then Moofies. Then Chicken Wing. And then I gifted 5 memberships. And that was the last one. And that was at, what time was that? 9:15. We did get Lisa Valenzuela with a coffee. Then we also had Lawrence and Paulette with the coffees also. No, I'm just saying we already went over that though, Zozo. That's what the whole night was about, going over those cases and all the different canals and everything. Right. Like 2 or 3 of them were found in canals, and one of them they said was the same canal that the other one was found by, but that was not accurate because the original articles had it in a totally different spot. And plus I was done with the show, so. Been on here for, what is it now? 3 hours and 1 minute. It's a long time, but thanks for complaining again. All right, everybody, thank you very much for being here tonight. We will... Oh, wait, I got to do the spin for the notebook. Here we go. Where is it? A wheel of names. Alright, there we go. Now you guys ready? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Ah! I'll have to send one to this account anyways. Kathy Shiflett, alright. Alright, so send me your address and then we'll get you all hooked up. Alright. That's cool. And by the way, like it was kind of a weird day for me over here because my let's see. My dad called. I just walked some walk on a treadmill. Then my dad called and I guess they were over at the emergency room and they had to take an Uber over there because he couldn't drive and my mom can't drive anymore. So they took a Uber over, and then I had to come pick Mom up from the hospital and take her home while he's still sitting there, just because of her memory and everything. And then we were just leaving and coming back home, and then all of a sudden, he calls me again just as I was about to get on this major highway, because then they were releasing him. So then we drove back all the way to the hospital again. And then took him and brought him back to their little house or living facility that they live in now. You know, so anyways, at least everything, he seemed like he was doing okay, but anyways, that's pretty crazy. Kind of a, yeah. That's why I was on so much later. I mean, we went over there at like 12:30, just driving all around and back and forth. I didn't get out of there until like 5:15 or 5:30, and then drove all the way over here. Hey, thanks, Kim Worth. And also, just another thing too, in those Florida places, over the years I've covered so many cases, and it seems like canals are like. This is the thing that Zozo sent over here, but it's just, like here's another 1987 one we could take. Maybe I'll add that one to my folder. Maryland. Don't I already have this one now? Hold on. Decker. That one sounds familiar. Yeah, Maryland Decker right there. So I already have that one. 1987 Maryland Decker. Yep. It's pretty crazy that I have all these cases, though, right? I mean, you know what I should do? I covered this in November of 2005, but now I'm going to slide this one down in with those other ones. Yeah, he was having, just struggling I'm not sure what was going on earlier with my dad. Or I'll put her right there. Okay. And then where was she? Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, if I could turn it back on. Watch this. Boom. I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? So this is one that we covered back in like a year and something ago. And look at that. Look what Marilyn's body was found here. And then this is the one where wait, this is crazy, right? This is where Weldgen was found, right? But that's one we already have in the books here. I guess I'd have to go back out and try to find the. Let me see, Decker. Where does she live? Oh God, look at where she's gonna live, you guys. She lived right there. What? Yeah, that's some crazy stuff right there. Yeah, I mean, look, these two bodies are right there. Marilyn lived there, and that's right next to her. Yeah. I'm just trying to find the Decker, my folder that I had on it, so I can put it with the other one. Keep digging, you're going to find a lot of other murders that could be connected to these. I wouldn't doubt it. There's so many of them. Let's see. Is there more pages on here? Dolores Bailey, skeletal remains were found. I said we did this one. This is Weldgen. See, I think Weldgen and Marilyn Decker might be killed by the same person. Is that it, or is there more pages here, or just that? Okay, I guess it has years in here. So you could go to 90 to 99. Renee Martin. Victim arrived at a residence, later found by her husband, stabbed to death at approximately 8. What? Nobody's ignoring anything. Alright, yeah, it doesn't seem like they don't have a ton in here. I mean, there seems like they're missing names in here. I mean, where is... You know what's interesting is the story that had the most information tonight was the Linda Kalitan, but you don't find her anywhere. Like, there's no disposition somewhere saying, you know, unsolved cold case from... It just... There's nothing. Anywhere. Like, why isn't her name here? Right next to Carrie Weldgen, for example. You know, why didn't she make it into this page? She doesn't show up anywhere. And this is Town of Davie, you know, she lived there. Yeah, Decker. Let me look at this for this one more time. Marilyn Decker. I'm just looking for it in my folder. No, there it is. So cut, and then paste it. Alright, so this is between Linda Kalitan and that Terry Gilchrist. So let's see, what did it say back then? That's decades later, family still seeking justice for woman found dead in Davie Canal. Dead woman had records. So this is going to be a sex worker again. His body was found floating in a canal this week. Had been released from jail 12 days ago on charges of soliciting. There you go. The body of Decker, 29, was found on Thursday in a plastic bag. So that one there might be related to, wasn't the, although a plastic bag wasn't mentioned. So was it Gilchrist? Is that the one that was a... Yeah, I think that's this one. The body of a woman found by a motorist was a strangle in 24 hours when her body was found. Gilchrist has known employment. So that's the sex worker. Okay, so Gilchrist. And so let's take a look. So Gilchrist was 1990 and Decker was 1987, and they're both sex workers found in the same area. But prior to that, other people would hitchhike. See, what's interesting is that right around like 1990, even a little bit before that, people stopped hitchhiking because of how dangerous it was. So pretty crazy, pretty crazy. So anyways, yeah, there you go. I don't think I gotta get out of here. So anyways, thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate it. I've already done the spin, said thanks to everybody, etc., etc., etc. So thank you all for supporting the channel, etc. And I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm really exhausted. A lot of driving around, a lot of time on the show here. So thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Where the heck is it? Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector. A lot of it's on the fly. We're just trying to figure stuff out. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.
We are all Richard Allen!